I've always been pretty comfortable staying home alone. Growing up, my parents had to travel a lot. Both sets of grandparents lived overseas and were often sick. My older siblings were much older and usually stuck at work until a few hours after school let out. So, being home alone, nothing new. In fact, I kinda liked it. I could blast music, watch whatever I wanted on TV, and just enjoy the quiet. But one Saturday, when I was 12, something happened that still haunts me to this day. My parents had to go to a funeral in the next city, an old friend of theirs. My brother had already moved out, and my sister was, well, somewhere. So they figured I'd be fine on my own for the whole day. I was actually excited. A full day with the house to myself. Perfect. After they left, I ran straight to the office. It used to be my brother's room, but after he moved out, we converted it into a little workspace. My computer was in there, and back then, we still had dial-up internet. My parents added an extra phone line so I wouldn't tie up theirs. I called my friend who lived a few streets over, just to see if she wanted to come hang out. She answered almost immediately. Her voice sounded off, like she'd been crying. Boyfriend problems, she said. He needs someone to talk to. I told her to come over, and she said she'd be right there. I figured girl talk needed a good treat, so I left the office and headed for the kitchen. That's when I saw her. A woman, dressed all in black. Her skin was so pale it almost glowed. Her hair was pulled up into a tight black bun. She was just standing there, her head tilted slightly as I ran past the hallway corner. I couldn't see her eyes, but somehow, I felt like she was smiling. My whole body froze. It was like my mind couldn't catch up with what I'd just seen. But then I thought, I'm just being paranoid. Home alone, letting my imagination run wild, I shook it off and ran downstairs. I called my friend again. No answer. I figured she must have already left her house. But I couldn't shake that feeling. That weird, prickling sensation on the back of my neck. So I threw on my jacket and waited outside. It was cold, but standing in the driveway felt safer than being inside. A few minutes later, my friend showed up and looked at me, confused. "Why are you outside?" she asked. I told her. Something weird happened. But I'll tell you over white hot chocolate. We went inside, made our drinks, and sat in the kitchen while she vented about her boyfriend. It was normal. Almost enough for me to forget about the woman. Almost. But then we got bored and decided to see if her boyfriend and his friends wanted to web chat. We headed upstairs to the office. She called him while I set up my webcam. While they talked, I started chatting with one of his friends online. It was all so normal. Until my friend stopped mid-sentence, phone still in her hand, and turned toward the hallway. Her face went pale. "I'll call you back," she whispered into the phone and hung up without waiting for a reply. I stared at her, confused. "What?" She swallowed hard and said, "There's a woman in your hallway, wearing a black dress." I felt my heart stop. I stood up, not daring to look into the hallway myself, and quietly closed the office door. My mind raced. Did I tell her about the woman I saw earlier? I couldn't remember. My hands were shaking. I finally asked, "Didn't I mention that when you got here?" Her eyes widened. "No." My voice cracked. "How was her hair?" She blinked, almost like she didn't want to say it. in a bun. We freaked out. I yanked the door open. Empty hallway. We sprinted down the stairs and straight out the front door. My friend kept asking, "What the hell was that? Who was she?" I couldn't answer. I didn't want to answer. I called my parents, panicked, begging them to let me go to my friend's house. But they were already on their way home, just a few minutes away. "Stay put," my mom said. "You're fine." When they got home, I told them everything. The pale woman, the black dress, the bun. My mom frowned, my dad just sighed. "You're just spooking yourself," they said. "You were alone all day. Your imagination got the best of you." I wanted to believe them. Really, I did. But over the next few days, little things kept happening. My bedroom calendar would be flipped upside down when I got home from school. Random stuff from my room would just vanish. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. No more weird feelings, no more missing items. Life went back to normal. A couple months later, we adopted a 2-year-old cat. Sweetest little thing. But from the moment we brought her home, she'd find random corners of the house and just stare. Sometimes she'd meow quietly, like she was trying to get someone's attention. And every once in a while, she'd shriek. A horrible, panicked sound, and bolt away like something was chasing her. But there are 3 or 4 spots in the house she does this with. One of them, right in my bedroom. And lately, she's been meowing at that corner every single night.